Welcome to our interview section of the Scenario Podcast. The Scenario Remix. We are back once again. We've been trying to get this brother on for a long time. We'll talk about this story in a minute. Allegedly.
Don't start with fucking lies, man. Don't start that shit. I'd be R. Kelly and walk off. Not R. Kelly.
Oh, so hold on. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But I would be another person who walked off for lies.
So this brother, straight out of Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas. Now that you know that's
no shit like that.
Hey, look.
Hey, he don't know as much about KC. They just beef with it. Now this is KC Mo, man. Like, this is a special one for me, man. This is my good brother, my actual real. We had Rob Hen on a few times, but this is my real line brother. Adonis Sutherlin, man.
Had Rob on a few times, huh? Not me.
Yeah. Rob came through the crib because Rob lives in St. Louis.
I got my first ask last fucking week. They've been talking. They can say they've been talking about it for however fucking long they want to say they've been talking about it, but motherfuckers asked me last week.
Hey man, just so you felt welcome. Just because you felt welcome, man. I got a Heidelberg cup here with my gentleman I'm doing this afternoon, just so that you feel,
I may or may not even remember that. If you put what was it, dollies or gachos or some
shit.
Like
yeah.
that.
Well, when your line brother, not my line brother, your line brother jumped into the lake. Yeah, that's the I ain't counting that. So let me go to the background real quick. I don't even remember when I first met you, bro. It probably was.
I do.
Turned up somewhere.
I'll tell the story of that one.
What was
it? AKA fashion show. I got arrested for something, and Matt got arrested for something. And I met Matt in the paddy wagon. And
what? Hold on. Y'all met in the paddy wagon?
I came to school for this. Came to school to be. Wait for this shit. Let's try to be. Like, yeah,
and this nigga had got maced and was just like, bruh, I can't. I'm supposed to do. He had on like some fashion show gear too. I remember that. Good call. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, so we ended up what, next semester pledging and all that. Now here we are.
2 weeks later, I saw you. 2 weeks later at that information, I was like, oh, that's that nigga.
Was the information that quick? God damn, I don't remember none of that, dog. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That whole period of my life feels like 1 year. Like that's literally like 3 years to feel like one. I did too much brain damage to myself back then. So. But you were just passing through though, man. So I'm gonna give you a little background about this cat. This is the first cat that I know that went to college and then went pro, but wasn't playing ball. Like he was just he was. So that year before we got on, though, you had a hell of a summer though. So so my fault. I'll run it back real quick though. Right now, let's work backwards. So right now, you the senior vice president of A&R for RCA right now, right? Am I on?
Right,
I'm on track with that. So
right.
We can go real far back. See, Daryl, I told Daryl before we got on this, I said, I'm not even going to give you any notes because he's going to talk about things and you're going to immediately ask questions. Like, okay. So you dipped out for an internship, right before the semester before we got online. So this was like the summer of 2004, right?
No, I think I did. No, I did after because I stayed with a couple bros via John Hicks and shit. To be able to get there. So we crossed 05.
Yeah. Because you left that summer before, right?
That summer I did the internship. I came back for one semester and then moved back out there on my 21st birthday.
Right.
21st.
So because you had the internship and you was working with Alicia Keys on that internship, right?
Her manager, Jeff Robinson. Yep. That's who they had at the time.
So like, how do you even get, because the question I get about you the most from like, young brothers that know, what I'm saying, like your path, like how do you even get plugged in on that in the first place? Like to even get to that point where you had that internship, coming out of KC, like even go back further back in time, man, like how you first get into music, like to the point where you was like, this is what it's going to be for me.
Well, I wanted to rap and then I realized I was shitty. And then I was like, let me write some songs. And I was like, I ain't that good at that either. But the it had to be a job for a motherfucker to say that, to recognize something's good and something bad. So when just looking at all the credits, you would always see those names like A&R. So I was like, all right, let me see what that job is. And I just, at the time, they used to sell this book called the A&R Registry. And it had like literally every name of a coordinator, assistant, the title, whole nine. And I went through that book and emailed everybody in. There's probably 300 some people, and 3 people hit me back. That was Jeff Rockwell, MBK, which was Alicia Keys management, Janine McLean, who was his partner, Jeff Robinson's partner is Alicia Keys management, Matthew Knowles, and Brian Leach, who found like, I don't know, Yin Yang Twins, Rocky, Pitbull, all that shit. Them are the 3 motherfuckers that hit me back. And I decided to go with Jeff because I was in love with Alicia Keys. So I was like, yo, maybe I could take her from her dude too while I'm there. But then I was like, she ain't really with him. And I remember one day she came.
Hold on, so your whole A&R career started for trying to take somebody girl.
I wanted to do the A&R shit, but I chose between those 3 because of Alicia. I was like,
get close to where you're trying to be.
Maybe she'll like me, you know what I'm saying? Like, we light skinned. Like, I didn't believe she really had the boyfriend. And what's funny, during that internship, I saw her kiss dude and it broke my heart, man. I almost didn't go in the next day. Feelings is hurt. I ain't lying.
He said, I ain't lying.
Little feelings is hurt. Cause something in me thought I could get her. I couldn't get her like at all. But
if there's anybody I know that would actually truly believe that, I think it's you. Honestly, 2 people. Actually, you and BG. You and BG would be the 2 people I would believe that would go on a whole job like that and figure that out.
I don't even know if I really told that part of the story.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
We got exclusives.
Statute of limitations, you good.
But yeah, I sent that note to everybody, and there was the people that hit me back. So it's always interesting when people ask now, like, how do I get on? I be like, man, all I had was an email address from Mizzou and A&R registry, shot in the dark. You got access to everybody now. Like
right.
Motherfuckers can literally reach out to me on several different modes of communication. I mean, platforms and shit. And then it's me, and it's all the different ventures and people out there. Everybody's searching. So when people say that they can't figure it out today, I feel like you don't want it enough, because at the end of the day, it's easy to get in now. It's the hardest part is to maintain.
Mm.
And go ahead, Dick.
Oh no, I want to go back to your original. So you said you just had a book with all A&Rs in it. You just emailed them.
Emailed them, cold emails.
That's
wow. The other day I tried to get into my. The other day I actually tried to get into my Gmail account, and I can't get in it, and I'm pissed because all of those emails are there. Like because it's interesting. It would be interesting to see the people that didn't respond back, or the people that were a little what's the word, like a little passive. Like some people responded, but pointed me to another person and whatnot, or just like, oh, I'll send it to HR. But it would have just been interesting to look back and see what I wrote and see how bad it probably was, and like because I'm grateful that they actually responded. They didn't have to.
Did they ever tell you like why they decided to take the shot on you? Of like, I mean, you just sent out a cold email. Like, why was it they said like, hey, like we responded to you or wanted to,
Yo, when I get cold emails, it depends on what I'm doing. I could be sitting there and I might just hit reply. I might just reply. And it's
wow.
It's just luck of the draw.
It's just really like that, like a dice game like that.
I'm just checking my emails, going through, and the next one say something. I'm like, send me something. That's it.
So like
it really just happens there.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I make that joke all the time about saying that, like, you're the only dude I know that went pro out of college that like wasn't going to play ball, but just like left college. Because I remember this was probably the semester after we crossed. So this fall 05, and we was talking about it, and you was just like, dog, what am I doing here? And I was just like, I guess you enjoying it here, because you really ain't got no reason to be here no more, bro. Like, you got a whole other life just waiting on you on the other side. Now, granted, that was a fun ass semester.
Jeff wanted me to come. Jeff made me say that I would go back. He always wanted me to finish because of something that happened with him where he didn't finish. So he made me. So I was like, okay, I'll go back. I'll wrap up this semester and I'll transfer to one of the schools in New York. And funny enough, like a couple days before, not a couple days, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before I was scheduled to leave, they hit me and said that they could no longer give me the job. Like, and meanwhile,
Wow.
like I'm literally sitting in classes at Mizzou, like answering my, I thought of the shit then. I bought Jimmy Langley's BlackBerry from him. Like he traded phones and shit. Like I bought his BlackBerry so I could get all of my emails on it so I wouldn't have to be chasing them. I'd be answering the phone from like phone calls from real people in a lecture hall, stepping out to do it. I was feeling it, and maybe that was a humble way a guy hit me in the mouth and shit. So that happened. So I ended up going back home for a couple months, just trying to figure out exactly what I was gonna do. I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just go up there. I'm gonna still go to Baruch College, and I will for just to keep that going." I got there, literally landed, and get a call from Chris Lighty's office, rest in peace, asking if I wanted to come in for an internship. And that was on my 21st birthday, and I started working with him at Jive Records at the time, which is now merged into RCA, and I haven't left since.
Wow, rest in peace to Chris Lighty, man. Rest in peace to Chris Lighty.
Yeah, man. Chris Lighty took this shot.
So like, did that come from like one of the original outreaches that you made, or did that come from like just, you know, networking when you got up there? Because like one thing I'll always give you credit for, man, is that you know how to strike that conversation and how to like build something off of that, just sitting there and rapping with somebody. So like, how'd you even get plugged in with Chris Lighty for him to know to reach out to you?
And I ain't gonna lie, I had no clue.
So was this working with Violator? Was this working with Violator? Was this working with Violator?
Chris Lighty was an A&R at Jive Records at the time as well. So his office, our office was on West 25th, and Jive Records was, and then Violator was a block away. So you just walk down the street to his joint, and he'd be in the office there, in the Jive office sometimes he was.
So he was jumping between office to office, the Violator office and the other office. Wow, that's what's up.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So we did that for a little bit, and I used to hustle off to the marketing department in between times where I didn't have shit to do. And soon that one of the ladies that I would always help went on maternity leave and asked if I could be her temp. Because I was in the middle of deciding if I was gonna leave. There was a opportunity to go work at Def Jam, and then I think it was like to go work for Puff or some shit. And that job came, and I was like, you know what? I want to stay there. Man, it's the door. Yeah, you can leave it at the door.
Same thing just happened to me.
So I had to. So I took that job, which was cool because it allowed me to get another feel for another side of the company, and I ended up moving up. It was a temporary job. Something happened. I won't say really what it was. Blah blah blah, and then ended up getting the full-time position, and just kept moving up on that side. And then they ended up giving me a hybrid role because there's a group called Travis Porter. They had like
I remember Travis Porter.
I took that to my OG Jeff Sledge, and he loved it, so he signed it, and that got them to give me a hybrid role within marketing and A&R. And then soon enough, the chairman was like, "Why are you in both? We need you to just focus on the A&R side." So I switched over, but the first 5 years of my time there was marketing.
See, and that's so like, I guess it's the thing that kind of reminds me, like, you know, things I've done in sports where it's like I'm writing, I find myself on radio. You know what I mean? And it's just like you never know who's looking at you, who's doing what. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep working and doing what you're doing, no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter how many irons you got in the fire, you never know which one really gonna hit. You know. So I remember shit. I don't don't remember what time I was up in New York, man, and you told me that you was going to like check out this artist at Madison Square Garden. It was like huge in like the Latin community or something. And like I had no clue who it was, but like you've seen a lot of people, and we've had some conversations about you seeing a lot of people coming up before they got there and before they made it and became bigger people later. Who've been some of the people that you've, you know what I'm saying, come across earlier on and seen them in their career and you just knew it? Because I remember, God, 16 years ago, you was like, hey, this dude, Chris Brown, he's going to be the guy. It's going to happen. Yeah. And I was just like, I was just like, we was arguing about it. And now you was like, don't argue with me about this. I'm telling you. And you was spot on with it. Like, so what have you seen, like, with people coming along throughout your career?
And I watched, I mean, on the marketing side, I mean, Miguel's like my brother, especially from day one. I watched him just like be signed to the label for a year and a half, and Sure Thing was actually already out on his what's that, Black Planet? Not Black Planet. What's the other shit? MySpace. Yeah, this shit had like 15 million views at the time, plays at the time. But he was trapped in this contract to where, so it was like this legal thing happening. So it took a second before he could even get the music out. But we just watched him grow and grow and grow. And I mean, you know, Miguel is Miguel now. So an interesting story was when my first two projects as an A&R was Anthony Hamilton and this young girl named Elle Varner that had been signed to
I remember Elle Varner, yeah.
RCA Records for a second. So they were trying to figure out what to do, and the chairman Peter Edge hit me and was like, "Yo, could you have a relationship with Jeff Robinson?" And he was managing her, as Alicia's old manager, and he was like, "Could you come? Could you help?" It's like, cool. So stepped in, helped that, and you know, we probably made that first album in like 3 weeks all together. Wow. Like 3 weeks of recording. It was 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. She had half the songs, and it was just about getting the right producer in place to bring it home. And then during that time, I had actually asked him to. There was this young girl that like played the shit out of guitar, great voice, and I was still at Jive at that time, and I begged him to allow me to work with her. He was like, "Man, Peter Edge already knows about it. We got a long relationship, so I got to give it to him." Sorry, so then when the companies actually merged, I ended up being able to be a part of it, and that was Gabby Wilson, who later shed the name and became HER. So I knew Gabby from 13, 14 years old, and to see her where she is now is crazy. I worked with her for the first maybe 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years and stuff, set up the first sessions, and along with Jeff Robinson and Suzette Williams, who was Suzette A&R Miseducation, Lauryn Hill. And we worked on Elle Varner together too.
Just a little
so like we had, right. She was crazy. So to see Gabby
so you were with Gabby when she was before she was even her, when she was kind of struggling trying to get to that point, and she kind of created that persona of her. You knew her back when she was like struggling trying to get that popping, and then she flipped that whole thing and did the her thing.
I ain't even gonna call it a struggle. I'm just gonna say like she was 13, 14, 15 years old. During those times, 16, and had never had the experience. And so she was writing the same records. She ain't changed. She's always been this person. It's just that now that once she grew and you stripped away the name and you forced people to just listen, it allowed them to embrace it way more than they were before.
You bring up a good point right there, man. Like talking about stripping people away, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, in your opinion, when you get an artist, how many people do you see have that thing already? They just need to figure out how they're going to put it out. Or do you see more people that already have it? It's just a matter of putting it in front of more people so that they can hear it.
Sometimes it's that, but it just depends. You give talent time, and eventually time will help talent. And I think that's just something that you got to really pay attention to, and you got to know. Like I give credit to Jeff Robinson, was it Jeff, Walter Jones, and Janine, and who else was Carolyn Williams for sticking at this time when that whole thing came up. I wasn't involved with Gabby anymore. Still signed to RCA, but I wasn't involved anymore. And they figured out a way to bring it home and like just position it the right way, because a lot of shit's positioning. A lot of stuff is just giving people the perspective and making people know how they're gonna hear it, listen. Like you got to control your listening experience now. Like you got it, because there's so much shit out there, even more now than ever. So you have to get people to buy into your world. And I don't think it's like they're not product anymore. They're brands. All the artists are brands. So I think you have to look at it from different phases, different perspectives and point of views to get everybody to buy into this world that you're creating. And then hopefully the music grows. Billie Eilish is a great example of that shit. Like she started it and just slow poked it till she got to Bad Guy. But if she put out Bad Guy first, it wouldn't have worked.
Right.
That year, that 2 years of growth allowed for you to realize who she was and her to set the tone, and then she hits with that record and it's game busters. Lizzo was, again, not someone that I was involved with, but I remember in 2016, the homie who's actually frat as well, Larry Wade, from the, I think he's from Indiana chapter. You know, I don't know that shit anyway, so I'm lying. He is frat, but I don't know.
If he's from Indiana, he's probably from the Alpha chapter.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I know. I said I might be making that up, but I know. No, he is from Indiana. He is. So he played me. What was that? Life's good as hell from Lizzo in 2016, man. And that,
wow,
it took a year and some change. Like it took a year and some change from release for that shit to take off. So it's all perspective, man. I mean, it's all timing and putting it in the right perspective and surrounding it around the right people. And you go, I got this other girl that's been around this girl Grace Hassan when she was 15. And we had a big record, big pop record probably 3 years ago. And she kept grinding and circle back. She just turned 22 and we're about to, and most people would have given up, stuck with it, figured it out. And now she's got a couple records going off again. So it's just give talent time and you start losing when you stop playing. That's it. Like a loss is just like how you determine. A loss is just saying, okay, that's not what I need to do. We do something else. I mean,
gotcha.
You just figuring out what you need to do or what's not working for you.
So like you've been in the game doing what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, right now, been on that grind for what, 17 years now? You know what I'm saying?
Not 17, don't put me there. Well, actually, shit, I just say I've been at RCA for 14 years, but if you talk about, I guess that year and a half from there,
I mean, because you was already.
I'm only 35. People don't think that shit makes.
I was trying to make you. I was making you sound like King is 47.
I'm only 35. People.
I was giving you some prodigy points, dog. But like in that time, I know you crossed paths with any and everybody. Who've been some of the main people that like you pick some things up from? You know what I'm saying? Like as your career's been going on, or people you kind of been able to work with and took this or that from. You know what I'm saying, to do what you've done through your career so far.
Man, that's too many people. Like I said, Jeff Robinson, Janine McLean, Chris Lighty, rest in peace. My OG Mark Pitts, who found Miguel, J. Cole, he was Biggie's manager, Change Faces, Usher, Chris Brown, Sierra. His career is
Mark Pitts is that real deal. He's that real deal.
Yeah, it's the OG. Yeah. Who else you got?
He's a light-skinned dude and Notorious. If people don't know, like if you
I
that's not him, but I'm saying that's
yo, I said, yo, but you not light-skinned.
I know, that's what it is.
Mark ain't light-skinned. I texted him, I said, yo, man, why you let him do you like that? He said, man, I ain't care. Like he said, it's just about he played it right. But
that sounds like somebody saying like they want Denzel to play them. Like
it's just like it worked and shit. But yeah, Mark is like my real OG. Learned a lot from my chairman Peter Edge and Troy Carter, who found Gaga and like ran Spotify for a bit, and like you got man, like I said, Lisa Cambridge, who was the person that gave me the opportunity and on the marketing side to roll up, and she was LaFace from day one. So she was actually Uptown. Sorry, so she was Mary and Jodeci and left
Father MC,
TLC.
Father MC.
Yeah, then she went to Left Eye and did all that shit. Like, so she had an amazing career, and I was fortunate enough to get to learn from her on that marketing side. And yeah, it's probably, I learned a lot from LA Reid for that 3 months of working with him. And then you learn a lot from just watching other people do shit that you say don't do. Like, it just, like, you don't even have to be next to him necessarily to just know. Big John Platt, who's he's chairman CEO of Sony ATV, but like just what he's been able to accomplish throughout his years has been incredible, and just being a real Black leader and this shit, and to be chairman of the #1 publishing company in the world is a major feat.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
Hell yeah.
learned from a lot of great people over the years. And still learning, hell.
Now we've done this before, like informally, but you know what I'm saying? I want you to, and if we gotta cut it out, we'll cut it out, but we're gonna talk about it. So like for you, you see music like I see sports. We had these conversations. Anytime I need to really understand something about music, I hit you up so that I can really know what I should be thinking. But for you, like, what's the best way to put this? Because we talked about this before. For you, lightning round, who are your top 5 artists of the last 20 years? Just from whatever the end product is, just however the whole thing worked out.
Last 20 years? That's like, I don't know about that. I love Kendrick.
Yeah.
Like Kendrick is.
Hey, fuck it. Let's not 20. 20, that's weird. That is a weird year. Lifetime.
That's like,
Lifetime. Like your run.
Oh, that's too artists. Like that's hard, because it's like breaking that down into too many things. Like Stevie's my favorite. Love Mike, love Prince. Like that's generic shit. Because it's like, because you're gonna get the same things a lot of times. I'll just say this: I appreciate artists that have that let music just start in one place and then take them to other places. Like Childish, like working with Childish Gambino, from like just following his path. I'm not sure I was in love with it out the gate when he had the the Sweatpants and 3005 and stuff. I liked those records, but then I got close to him. I got close to management because he had mentioned El Varner on a record, and I was like, shit, I need him to feature on this record. So I reached out and it was like, yo, since you checked her on that record, like, let's try to get you on. Couldn't get it to happen, but then I got wind that they were about to be out of their deal. So when I just kind of stayed in touch, and then when Redbone came out, we was like, oh shit, let's this shit's special, let's chase. And then we chased for like a year and a half, and we ended up getting them to come to RCA, and then the first thing we put out was This Is America. So, but then you watch him and you see like the Atlanta show and like how what he writes, and just the impact that he has in culture. I love people like that that are multifaceted, that can do a lot of stuff. Like, I respect the fuck out of Gaga just because everybody thought she was a meat suit until she said, nah, I'm gonna go do this shit with Tony Bennett and win a Grammy. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do the American Horror shit and kill that. And then she comes in and delivers something amazing with Bradley Cooper and them, and that remake of that classic record. So I love people like that because
I've always felt like Gaga was the genesis. I always think that one artist builds on the back of, people that happened before. It's just, you watch, you learn from the way it happens, no matter what the industry is. I always felt like Gaga was just like the genesis of what Madonna was in her time. Like, just coming from a whole different place. Like, I'm gonna do me. It's gonna be whatever you think about it, but I'm gonna do me. And she's so much more talented than people even understand. I feel like she one of those people that's like talented. Like, people knew it, but people still, I feel like, don't understand how talented Prince was. Like, he was so far away talented outside of the box that it's like you don't even understand it until you really have to stop and pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but that's
No, it does.
D, what you
Makes
got,
a lot
man?
of
You're our music connoisseur here on the program. I've been taking it because this is just individual relationship. What you got, bro?
Yeah, no, I got a couple. Well, first of all, how is the music industry changing because of this Corona situation? Like, with the, how are you all looking to adapt to this, or is it not an adaptation? We're just gonna wait it out. Like, how is that process going right now?
I mean, it ain't stopped. It's busier than ever for us.
Really? Word. Okay.
Yeah, because like on the music front, like you think people are listening to me, people ain't gonna stop listening to music. It's still being consumed. So that's we're just like trying to churn records out for the most part. The only thing that's stopping is touring. That's now a little more, like, not a little more, like motherfuckers don't know what
Yeah.
you can do
Yeah.
yet. And so you gotta have to get creative with that. And I think that after so many it's only so many from home series you can do before you just like but it's that's the only thing that's stopping. I think now you just got to get innovative. I think that everybody had a festival, and now that shit's gonna be cut short. Like, it's gonna get back to like you have to get people into you again. I think this whole Corona shit in general, minus people losing jobs and minus people just overall like dying, and it's a hard reset that I think was needed for the world. For everybody, for all industries. Like, it's a lot of gluttonies, a lot of shit happening to where it's just everything was padded. Everything was it's almost like the housing crisis, the bubble that happened there. Like, it's just the world's doing it now. Like, my view, like, this ain't no brag or no shit, but like some days it was smog, and like now this shit's crystal clear. Like, you can see out to the ocean. You can actually see out to the ocean and shit, but that didn't like. But all the cars ain't out there no more. And shit.
Right.
Like, so
right.
It's almost like the universe is telling us slow the fuck down, and we weren't listening. Like, I feel closer to people being far away from people now. Like, I feel more connected to people now than I had in the past. I feel like people are using social media to actually connect with people versus just show what their life is, and just kind of like put on for people. Like, I feel closer to my wife. I feel closer to my family. I feel closer to my friends. Like, when somebody asks you how you doing, I think people really mean it right now, because you don't know how somebody's doing. Like, you actually have to check in on people's mental health and wellness, and you got to check in with yourself on it, because this is something this is some weird shit that we will all remember, and we don't know what's happening, what's gonna happen, how much longer it's gonna be this way. But I think if you don't walk out of this a better person, I think that you kind of like didn't see a silver lining in this, because I think that's what it is.
Yeah, man, that's a real point, man, because like that hit for me last weekend, because shit, we supposed to be kicking it last weekend, you know what I'm saying? You supposed to be
crazy.
Down here doing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because I feel like we was at your joint not too long ago, and I had just made my mind at that point where I was just like, all right, I'm going to do this thing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, but I agree with that, man. You having to slow down and take stock. Like, I definitely have used this time to like dig into some crates and, you know, do some things that I've never had time to do before. And one thing I want to talk about this before you go. I do got one story I want you to tell that you told me that just had my fucking jaw on the ground when you told me. But before we do this, because we talk about this all the time, I sent you my top fives yesterday. I sent you my top fives on for the NBA all the time. And I said, he's taking this in because either he just truly doesn't agree with anything I just sent, or he's actually got a real gripe that we're going to work through. So first of all, I want you to talk about
crazy.
This.
I was clinked yesterday. That was in the morning. I was when I was talking to you, I was headed to Home Depot and shit. And then by the time I got home, it was work nonstop.
Life run, yeah. I was working till 11 last night, but hey, because of that, take a look at that. But why are you looking at that?
It's because you broke it down by positions. So it went. That's what got me. But you
yeah, I haven't done it in a long ass time by no position being involved.
okay, I got all that. I got yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? Because
Man, but you only thing that's fucking me up in that one is just centerless.
So centers is the hardest fucking one though. Like
You
centers
fucking me
is
up
just
on that one.
impossible.
Like
you want Shaq
You
hour?
got Shaq at 5, man. Shaq not 5 because Shaq did some shit that like Shaq could run that floor like a motherfucking
Like let's list the 5 for people real quick that Matt
So
put.
the list. So
here's
it was Kareem, Russell, Wilt, Hakeem, and Shaq at 5.
who is he gonna replace though? I can't. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
It's just what he revolutionized and shit. Like just that him coming in there like Shaq was different, man.
There ain't nobody on that list that can guard Shaq. There's nobody on that list. Shaq,
like you can't. Like he was.
Shaq is the most unguardable big man ever.
He was stronger, like faster, stronger. And the impact, the influence, like he made big man cool. Like
yeah.
motherfuckers, like it's different, man.
Wilt can go higher.
Shaq in top 10 all time to me.
Okay, we'll see.
Wow.
Hey, but here's the thing though. That's the trip though.
I think so.
But here's my trip though. I gave you that position. I gave you 5 centers. Out of my top 12 all time, I got 5 centers in it. Shaq just my 11. Hakeem my 10, Shaq my 11 all time.
You got the dream over Shaq
by one spot. By one spot.
I can't.
One spot. One spot.
Hey, that dream shake was something to deal with.
It was deadly, but that motherfucking Shaq
was different, bro. And the reason why I bring that up is that, you know what I'm saying, I know that you was one of the biggest guys I know that was for Kobe. You know what I'm saying? So you out there in the community. Yeah. You out there in the community, you know what I'm saying? Like I hit you up when the thing happened with Kobe because I knew, you know what I'm saying, what the brother meant to you.
That was Grammy. That was the day of the Grammy. Let's skip this shit.
Yeah.
I ended up going to shit afterwards and stuff, but I couldn't. Like I just felt fucked up.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
In LA. You in LA, man.
You got it. Take it. You got it.
And just feel it. And then you realize what he done, what he meant, and he just Kobe was the motherfucker that when you say he left it on the floor, like he actually, the fact that you could tell he wanted nothing else to do with playing basketball or even helping on his side because that motherfucker really left it on the floor. He took 40 shots to get them 60 points, but he did it.
Hey.
You saw he was battered and bruised, but he left every ounce of his soul on the court that night. And it's wild.
So did you get to peep the last? Obviously, you got to peep the last dance. Ain't nowhere for anybody to go do anything. What you feel about it? Because we have been talking a lot about, you know what I'm saying, about how crazy it is that we only got like 2 years between us, but how you closer to that Kobe generation, I was closer to that Mike generation, and just kind of how we had a little bit of
Mike's
split.
number one. Like it's no
for sure. We never argued that, but it's just like, what did you feel about kind of looking back at like that point in time?
But
because
there's also intermediary point too. I think you got the Allen Iverson bleed too. There's
that's a popularity contest.
No. I think more people were Allen Iverson guys in our generation on the older side than Jordan. I'm talking about that bleed over was real in the late 90s, early 2000s.
But what's funny is you can never, ever, if you tell me AI is top 10 all time, now I question you. So like you can't. It's not that you can't like he's your favorite player's favorite player. I mean, he's like that 100%. And when you talk about influence, probably top 3 to 5, hands down.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
It's like, and the way he played the game, like it's different level. It's a different level, but it's just something. I'm gonna say this, and it's blasphemy, and I jump. First off, we just gotta pick this up and do a part 2. That's it. But what I was gonna say is, AI. To me, AI is the reason that. Damn, it was disrespectful. That Carmelo became a loser.
Wow.
Because Carmelo was a winner in his world and shit. Carmelo really was a winner, but I think he picked up some bad habits from AI. And I think
in Denver, you're talking about in Denver.
I do. I think he picked up bad habits, and I think that some of those habits that AI had weren't don't allow me to put him in that spot. Just like a lot of people say they can't put LeBron no matter what he does. They got to put Bean over him, and they can never put him at Jordan because he don't have that dog in him. He don't have that killer. And so it's certain things that AI just didn't possess that probably kept him from being what he could have been, to be honest. Right? And that's why he's not in everybody's top tier list. Though he took them motherfuckers to the finals.
I think that when I look at that shooting guard list, like I sent you my 5 shooting guards. My 5 shooting guards was Jordan, Kobe, Jerry West, Allen Iverson, and I don't remember the 5th one.
Hey man, can we take this shit why we tape it in the day? We couldn't tape at night.
Yeah,
we can do this shit. We can do this shit whenever.
Do this shit later, man. I got to prep for this. I got to prep for this call, and then y'all motherfuckers was drinking. I was like, I would have been out here to talk to all shit.
Well, then, so then this is what we gonna do. We gonna run this one because you dropped some shit that kicked off on this in the right way. I want to give you your time to do your thing. But I did have one thing I wanted to ask you, and then the next one we can shoot the shit for real on it. Is that, you know what I'm saying? So somebody wants to end up getting in, being an AR, or get their foot in the business. That's not necessarily like, I'm not rapping, I'm not writing, I'm not doing this. Kind of following the path that you did. In 2020, what's the piece of advice you giving them to make it happen for themselves?
The advice really is that you just got to create a way to get people to pay attention. Like, there's so many, the avenues, the outlets are there now. Like, you have access to everyone. Like, there's no, like, and people are looking. So you just got to be persistent, relentless, and then make people understand why they need you. And then sky's the limit. Like, I don't think you don't have to know nobody. You don't have to know anybody. Like, that shit's over. You do, like, everybody is right here in this phone. Like, everybody. And I don't have to have their number. I just have to have their name. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's like, I can reach you. And so I just say, find something, find a singular vision, and don't be afraid of no's. Shit, sometimes you want no's because no's prepare you for what to do when you do get hit. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and then you don't know what the fuck to do. So it's like, I think you just prep yourself and get out there, figure out what you want to do, and really go after it, and be nimble, and don't be afraid to switch gears, and don't be stubborn and think that it has to be this, it has to be this way, it has to be that way, because you don't know which way is gonna what's gonna get you to where you want to go. All you need to know is that you need a vehicle and you need to go in that way. And sometimes you're on your feet, sometimes you're not even in a car, but you just need to know what direction you want to go in, and know that it's gonna be, or just know your destination. Shit, really. Yeah. And how you get there.
And roll with the punches. Sometimes you gotta be Tyson. Sometimes you gotta be Ali.
Yep. Sometimes you gotta be Floyd.
Yeah, well, that's a great.
Well, I mean, I guess Don, where can they hit you up at, or do you not want them to hit you up? Because I know that we got a floodgates.
I'm on all the socials. I don't pay a lot of attention to. I don't post a lot. I don't post at all. But I am a stalker. I pay attention to other people's shit because when I need to. So just hit on there. I do pay attention, and I respond. You might get a bet. Yeah, I don't know. Hold that. And next time I'll tell.
Hey. So we're gonna bookmark it, man. This part 1. Hey, my brother, I appreciate it, man. I truly do, dog. It's interesting to talk to you in this way, considering the situations we've been in life. But this is fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, man. Let's get one more shot of him. You talk a little bit more. Like, people get the shot of your background and have them goals in the background going on. Because me and Matt I look like I'm in a prison. Matt looked like he had a Pottery Barn in his background.
Well, shit, man. We started at a low-key prison, so it's a good place for us to finish it up today.
There it is.
Hey, brother. Peace, appreciate it, bro.
Love.